What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Make It Kustom. We are working on the ramp truck, and today is a big day for us because I'm hoping to actually drive this thing under its own power with, you know, it all back together. And I've got a date. This is how confident I am, which is overconfident, but that's okay, is I went and put a day permit on this thing. So at 12 p.m. midnight tonight, I technically have insurance on this truck and I want to drive it. So basically what I got to do is I got to drive it to a weigh scale and have the net weight scale ticket of this truck. I'm going to take a picture with my phone of it sitting on the scale. We're going to get the scale ticket so that I can change the weight class of the truck to what it properly is now. So I'm doing that tomorrow. In this video, we're going to take this thing for a test drive. You're not going to want to miss that. I want to thank you all for watching. Let's do it. All right, so where is the truck at in its current state? It has everything bolted up, solid for the final time. Suspension-wise, all the airbags are working. The engine fires up, we run, we have fluids in most things. We got to top up the transmission fluid. We've got to check no, actually I already checked the power steering fluid. We have to top up the transmission fluid. We definitely have to do that. We're gonna have to make a brake switch mount, which is for this switch here. Basically, it tells the computer to unlock the torque converter when you hit the brakes. It also is our brake lights. So I've got to make a little mount for that. I've also got to hook up the gas pedal cable. I also want to plumb in a air line for our roof mounted air horn up there. I feel like I've always wanted to pull the cable. You know, as kids, like you roll around and you see a big truck and you do this, and if you're lucky, the guy gives you a little honk. I want to be able to do that too. So even if people aren't asking me to honk, I'm going to be obnoxious and fulfill my childhood dreams of honking a air horn on a large truck cab. What else do we have to do? We got to put wheels on, obviously. This bolt into that hole. I'm going to do that. There's really not that much left. Anyway, let's get into it. I'm just gonna pick something and go after it. I think the first thing I'm gonna do, because it's the thing I've been postponing the most, is I'm gonna do the brake switch bracket, which is just a little dumb bracket. Do that first, and yeah, we'll go from there. Okay, so I've done a little bit of thinking, and basically, this is what I've come up with. Instead of trying to, like, I was thinking about putting the switch here, so the switch would be in when you're not on the brakes, and then when you hit the brakes, it would move away and activate that switch. But what I'm thinking now is a less intrusive place might be somewhere up here. Maybe I could just make a bracket. There's a couple of holes right here. I could probably easily make a bracket off of that, and I could just kind of hang this like this beside the pedal, and then what I could do is make a little piece of sheet metal or something like a little tab that activates this off of the brake pedal itself. I think this might be an easy way to do it, and I don't have these adjuster nuts, so I'm just gonna bolt this solid and then put an adjuster nut on the arm from the brake pedal, but I'm gonna stick it up in here somewhere, I think. Okay, so what I got here is, this is the bracket. There is the critical measurements I took, and I kind of morphed it into this. It has a little bend gusset for strength. This is also a new throttle pedal one that just gives a little bit better angle than the one we had and a little bit extra strength. So I'm gonna cut those out of 10 gauge on the Fast Cut CNC. Okay, so I got these two brackets cut out using fine cut 45 amp on the fast cut here. Check that out. I don't know how good it shows up, but it almost looks like laser when it's on the fine cut. But we're gonna try and get these taillights on. We've got these guys here. So I'm gonna make up some quick little brackets that just bolt them on temporarily, and Adam's gonna help me wire them up. So since the camera died on, I suppose that was Friday night, some things have happened. I'm gonna bring you up to speed because we did take it for a little bit of a drive and also got to speak with some police officers. So we'll get to that in a second because I think it's just kind of funny. Brake lights, all the tail lights, turn signals, bulb sockets, all that got gone through. I need to go buy a bulb for this one because it's just very faintly going. We've got all that. We've got top markers. The tail lights are wired up. Those are in. Brake light switch works. We got tail lights, just temporary. I didn't even bother painting them because it's so temporary. But yeah, all that is good. We've found a leak in this Hydro Boost. There's some fluid on the ground. Not ideal. There's fluid all over this thing. But here's our throttle cable set up. That is in there. I got to get a better spring for it, but it works totally fine. There's that other boost or brake switch bracket wired up. That's in. Works great. Okay, so I probably should have filmed all of this, and I'm going to start by apologizing for not filming it because it would have been crazy. So there's a few things that happened. We found some weaknesses in the front suspension, and some of you are correct with what you had said in the comments and some critical suggestions that you had made. So like some of you guys are correct here for sure. But we'll start with this, this test drive. So me and Adam, we finished pretty late. It was like 1 a.m. or something. And we figured we could take it for a test drive. So we pulled it out. We filled the rat up with some water. And it was very, very late at night. It was like 1 a.m. And so we pull out of the driveway. I look down the street. There is like a police incident happening down the street. We'll just call it that. And we turn the other way. We're in like pretty rural backcountry area here. Police incident there has nothing to do with us until later, because that's why we think the cops came so fast to see us. But I had a proper permit on it, insurance, everything, and we basically took it for a toot. We're like burping the cooling system, and I guess there was like an airlock, and coolant was not flowing, and we overheated. So we didn't make it very far, we overheated. And so I pulled over, and we were just kind of waiting there. We're like, man, it's 1 in the morning, and it was kind of far enough that we didn't really want to walk back, so we called Curtis. Curtis came out, picked our asses up, brought us back. We grabbed, you know, a bunch of water and whatever. But before he picked us up, between us pulling over and calling Curtis, I would say maybe 3 minutes after we pulled over and called Curtis, a cop car rolls up, and they roll up fast, like, and they stop, and we're like, oh, weird, crazy. Guy hops out. Another cop car rolls up. Now there's 3 police, and we're just like it is pitch black. There are no street lights. We are just like right in the middle of nowhere and just pulled over on the side of the road with this overheated ramp truck on its first drive that probably should have never gone anywhere. And they roll up, and they're kind of like, they're obviously looking for somebody. And so they assumed we were them, and they thought that, you know, so like guy comes up with like gun in hand. And anyway, we were kind of just like giggling because we just thought it was like a very crazy, weird situation. And they asked us for our names, and they clearly found out right away just by like talking to us for like seconds that we weren't who they were looking for. I guess somebody called it in. There's been some like cable theft, like for copper, I guess, around here lately, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, somebody called it in that they saw sparks and like this and that or whatever. They like, I think they probably just saw like maybe our orange lights through the trees or something, just like pulling over maybe and shutting off. Perhaps it was that. I really don't know. But that's why they came so fast, is because they were at this other scene that was very close by. So it was just really, really funny. Anyway, Curtis brought us back. We grabbed some water. We went down, grabbed the truck, made it home. I fixed that cooling issue. Things seemed fine. So I wanted to, my goal was to go get it weigh scaled so that I could do the paperwork on the truck. And so I just wanted to take it there, and I should have filmed all this stuff, but I was just kind of like, I was personally out of batteries. The GoPro was full, but I was out of batteries, so I was just trying to do whatever. Front suspension showed its weakness, as well as the steering box. There's like a ton of play. We tried to tape measure alignment, give it, and didn't do a good job. And I checked it the next day, and it was not where we had it. So while I was driving it, it had a violent front end dance. And that's another reason why I wish that I had the GoPro, because you would have seen me just bouncing around the cab like I was doing like 40, and just like got rocked. Like the front wheels started dancing, and that was not cool. The alignment was way off, and that was my bad. I wasn't as precise as I should have been. I talked to our friend Gary, who's a veteran heavy duty mechanic, and he kind of like gave me the, you know, the formula to do the toe in on the straight axle in this truck. And so I did that, and then it drove much nicer. But anyway, it needs a steering dampener. It needs a new steering box. Although that suspension style works on the back of mini trucks all day long, I think that the bushings are a little too loosey-goosey for what we're trying to do. So although it does keep itself centered, I think there is too much wiggle side to side, and I just don't think it's good. So I'm going to do the same thing on the front as I did on the rear, and I'm gonna give the suspension a diagonal link on the lower two arms. The parallel arms on the lower suspension of the front end is gonna get a diagonal link. So I have to fabricate that, give it a new steering box that doesn't have so much play in it. We'll be able to adjust the worm gear a little bit on the back of the box, but the actual bearing for the output shaft of this steering box has a little bit of play. So that's something that I'm gonna have to work on. And then I'm gonna add a steering dampener, the factory one for this straight axle. I bought one, and I'm gonna add that. That's why some of this stuff is out. I gotta make a diagonal link out of kind of what I got. I only have one of these, whatever you call, weld-in bungs. And I don't have a left-hand thread one, so I'm gonna have to get one of those, I suppose. This is the steering stabilizer. Oops. So it's got similar to like a shock mount. Steering stabilizer is just a shock that has 50-50 kind of shock either way. So this is what's toast on mine. There's play up and down in here. So that's not cool. That's why we're gonna change it. I guess that's what I'm working on today. So before, I promise you're coming for the test drive that's actually safe. We're gonna safetify this truck and then hopefully take it for a successful test drive, which you will come along with in this video. I think that's this guy, right? So first thing we've got to do is find what we call half travel. With a panhard bar or any suspension, if it's adjustable suspension, we set things up at half travel, not ride height. That's a misconception. I've said it before, and I just want to reiterate that Elio knows this. It's whenever it's an adjustable suspension, doesn't matter what your ride height is, you set your neutral levels of your suspension geometry at half travel. Do you understand why that makes sense? Because some people might say, I've got 12 inches of travel, but my ride height's always gonna be 3 inches, so I'll set it up there. Because then when you go to 12, if you ever do, or somebody does, you sell the car one day or something happens and they just decide, well, my ride height's gonna be 6 or 8 or 10 or 12, then now all of a sudden your suspension is not set up optimal at those heights. So that's what we're doing. Are we at 5 now? And right now, this is where we would set up our panhard bar to be parallel. That's why we need this, right? We need to figure out where it's gonna sit and make sure that it's got clearance when we dump the suspension all the way down. The mount is gonna be here. I'm gonna go from right underneath the frame on the driver's side, and I'm gonna come across, and I'm gonna mount to right here. So that's what I'm thinking. So basically, I wanna know at half travel where this sets up level to be on both sides. And then we're probably gonna just maybe tape something here or whatever that will signify the bracket that will mount our heim joint to the axle on the back of this link bracket. And then we'll air it all the way down to make sure that we don't have any clearance issues when things start tucking up by the 5 inches. Should be good, but that is the next step. And then we will just take some measurements, draft up some very simple tabs, and use the Fast Cut CNC, plasma cut out the tabs, weld them on, and then we'll have a panner bar. Okay, this is so easy to use. I know I don't go over this much, but just a quick one because these are very simple, right? All I had to do was you go up here and you go to edit contours, you right click it and you tell it what layer to be on. And we just, like for inside holes, I just put them on a new layer, right? And so basically that's it. You put the 2 different layers, the inside holes, the outside holes. Then you go to jet cutting operations here, and you just choose, like it's already preset in here. Look at all this, 1/4 inch, 3/16, 10 gauge. Those are 65 amps. They got 45 amps. They got 40 amps. You can go all the way up to 85 amps. It's all preset in here, fine cut. Everything's already in there. So we go inside offset for this contour method. We're gonna go for a new layer. It's suggesting 41 inches per minute. I always like to take them down a little bit for the holes, just because it's a hole. So I'll take it down like 25% or so. So let's go 30 there. Torch height control off. Okay, so that's that. I might as well do this one while we're at it. So this one, and let's do jet cutting operation, and it should all still be the same as our sets, right? So you just press OK. Now that one's done. Now the rest of them are outside offset. So we will go jet cutting operation, outside offset. The layer is just 0 because we didn't even have to make that layer. It was already there. We're gonna go 35 for the outside, and then torch height control on, just because it's doing more movement. Basically, the torch height control measures the distance. Like if the plate was to raise or lower, maybe there was some slag underneath the plate and it's not sitting dead level, it would measure its torch height by the amperage that it's using. So that's the torch height control, so we'll leave that on and good to go. Now we have to just click the other ones here and do the same one, right? So this jet cutting operation, it's still all the same. Okay. Now this one, gotta do the outside jet cutting operation, outside offset, right? Still all the same. Okay. Now, all these are ready to go. We gotta see if it's all gonna fit. I don't think it'll fit right in between here, unfortunately. Figure out exactly where that is. We'll go straight over from that. We'll hit X marks the spot. That lets us know XY, that's where it's gonna start. It's starting right here. So if I move to the right, see how this line moves? I can see how far that's gonna be. Okay, heads up to you guys out there. You see me use this like DVR saw before. I'm just gonna cut this piece of bar here for the mount that Elio just drilled the hole for. So I've used this saw before. I love this saw. This thing's awesome. But if you can't afford that one, there's another really wicked saw that I highly recommend. This saw is Evolution. You may have heard of it. Not sponsored by Evolution or anything. If you want to pick one up, you can get a discount at KBC Tools. Make It Kustom, all one word, all capital letters. Don't forget to register for the website or the discount code won't work. But this one's like 500 and something bucks Canadian. So even cheaper if you're in the US. But it's a cold saw. The blade is unreal and it eats like, oh well, here, look, watch. Cold to the touch, like that. It's a great saw. So we've welded those bungs in. We've got a right-hand thread, left-hand thread so that they're adjustable without unbolting it. That's why there's right hand and left hand, if you didn't know that. These little spot welds are very important. I highly suggest if you're ever making your own bars like this to drill straight through like I did and plug weld those spots. It's extra insurance because if you weld this all the way around and say maybe you welded way too hot and you heated it up way too much and then it was prone to cracking because it hardened and maybe you broke that weld and it slipped out. This is insurance, cheap insurance, free insurance, time invested. That's, worth it. This side looks kind of funny, but basically what's happening is that behind that hole on the back side of this is gonna go in there. That's gonna be the panhard bar mount. We've got a couple of gussets that are gonna help strengthen it up, but I didn't want to have to get inside here because this tube passes all the way through. and there isn't really room to access a bolt head, and I wouldn't be able to slide a bolt in or get a nut on the back side because it's so close to this tube. So I've welded it and plug welded it onto a bung here, and I'm gonna weld that directly into the back of this and then put gussets on each side here and here. This is 3/4 inch. And then the next thing we've got to do is put this steering dampener on, and I think I'm gonna go super dumb easy because this tapered shank fits that forged rod end that was a steering link, our earlier steering link before we upgraded our pitman arm to the Super Duty. I might just cut this off, clean this up, and there's a spot that I think I could just weld that on, and then I could just weld this on to the actual bar itself. So everything's serviceable and just super dumb easy, done. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get to it, and then hopefully we're going on some test tooths tomorrow. So we have panhard bar action, and super stoked. I noticed a massive difference right away when I push on the top of the cab. It is super, super, super solid. That used to be able to sway a little bit. And anyway, I'm learning stuff. This suspension is so much better now, and I can't wait to test drive it. Next thing is steering dampener, and what I am gonna do instead of just cut that piece off and, oh, I got snagged on something with a cord. Instead of cutting this piece off and using it somehow, I'm not gonna do that. I am going to make my own. I have the taper bit, and basically exactly what this thing had stock was 2 bolt holes on a piece of flat, like 1/2 inch flat bar bent down, and then, well, exactly what I'm gonna make. So that's what I'm gonna do, just weld all the way around this, drill that hole, taper the hole, that will bolt through there. We will use the torch, bend a 90-degree on it, drill 2 holes for the leaf spring bolts in the top of this bracket. So it's going to go, so it'll be a flat bar that comes like this, down. There will be a horizontal attachment, tapered hole, and we'll be underneath that bar. That's the plan. we are getting there. Okay, Sam is filling up. She got the transmission pan back on. She's filling up the transmission fluid. I'm about to paint some stuff. There's no paint in there. I'm not sure why that's on the shelf. All right, it is a new day. So last night we had a little shop night, got a few things done, and brackets are painted, that's painted, sputzed a little bit of the black paint on the frame. If you like these safety glasses, they discontinued our favorite Japan safety glasses, and we're trying out these ones. Metal frames, and you can sort of bend them like to fit your face and stuff. I kind of like them better. But anyway, now I'm going to install these and just kind of do a check over of the truck so that we can just take it for a real test drive. I think we're there. We're getting ready to take her for a cruise. The objective of this drive is to safely make it all the way to the Mission landfill so that we can get a weigh scale ticket for the new net weight of our truck. So Elio and I are gonna go. Hopefully she's good. I don't live far from the landfill, and the landfill has a weigh scale, so my plan is to go there and have them weigh the truck and just give me a ticket for it so that I can go to my insurance person and register the net weight of this truck and get it insured. Let's hope we make it. This is actually kind of scary last time, as I was saying, so I'm really hoping. I'm a little nervous.
I think we need more air in the front.
More air in the front? Yeah, we're up pretty high. Yeah. It actually feels really smooth. Feels really smooth. So I think we can maybe tighten up the worm gear in the steering box.
Yeah.
Like when you get a new steering box, I think that like, that's always an adjustment that you can do, right?
Yeah.
So that could be something. There's just a little bit of play, like, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 degrees of steering play. Suspension feels really nice. Like it doesn't feel like a rock solid massive truck, you know? How beautiful that lake is, isn't it? use like a little bit higher shift points.
Yeah.
What do you say, Curtis?
I like it. Yeah. We'll work as a snowplow.
Yeah. We just stopped off at Curtis's place. Curtis does really crazy interior stuff and like motorcycle seats, custom trim. But he's just right by the mission dump, so we came to show him the truck and see what he thinks.
I like it.
My horns are leaking. You can hear that. See anything?
No, everything looks good so far.
Everything looks tight.
Yeah. I really like it.
Oh, you know what I didn't tighten is the sway bar.
It looks
links. The links on the sway bar are not tight, like the jam nuts. Everything else is tight.
on the bottom.
But the jam nuts aren't tight. That's not a big deal. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. But my bad. My bad. Oh, maybe I should air up the front.
Yeah, maybe.
You're gonna have to seal up this hole somehow. It's too loud.
I thought you had the panel.
No, it used to be a dash that would stay with the chassis.
Yeah, I thought you just had that.
Oh no, it's like still on the chassis. Hi there. I'm just looking to get a net weight on the vehicle, please.
I can give you a printout here. Just give me 1 second.
Are you able to put the VIN number on the printout?
Yeah.
Wonderful. I do. It's right there. Thank you.
Wait till we jump out.
Huh? Nah, it's fine. It's fine.
You want to be in the vehicle or out?
Yeah, okay, let's get out. Bumper doesn't look bent, that's a bonus.
Yep, you're good to come on back on. I'll give you a printout.
Wonderful, thank you very much. You too. Oh, I left it in gear. That felt funny. Like this, yeah. What? I did a burnout?
Yeah.
Really?
A little skirt.
Oh, nice. Did it look cool? We are very lucky. We got all the way there. And the net vehicle weight of the truck right now, we don't have a deck on it, but we need to change it so that we can even get insurance, and then we'll redo it once we get the deck on it. We don't have to do commercial vehicle inspection if we're under 5,000 kilograms, right? So right now we are 3,250, which is beautiful because there's no way that the deck's gonna weigh more than a couple thousand pounds. So our net vehicle weight will be under the threshold of 5,000 kilograms. Very stoked. Thank you all for watching Make It Custom. I really appreciate you guys. We're having so much fun on the ramp truck. We're just having a great time right now. Elio and I really appreciate you. So don't forget to like, click subscribe, hit notifications. And if you're looking for another way to support, we've got Patreon. Patreon, we're doing like live kind of daily updates with Patreon right now, and it's something that people seem to really enjoy. So if you're looking for that, we also have DXF files on there. If you become a member of a certain tier, then you get free DXF files for like the tools that we build, stuff like that. JapansCustoms.com for merch. Anyway, just loving it. Thank you guys. We're gonna go back, do our once-overs, and maybe go get some lunch. See ya.